Good afternoon, this is Mark at the Wicked Edge Expert Corner group. We're on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm getting parched because I'm deleting a lot of videos. I was asked if I could do a video on sharpening strokes. Let me see if I can do that. I described in the previous video what we're working with. And I thought that that was important so that you know what you're looking at. So now you can see what I'm doing and not wonder what is that I'm doing it to. Okay, sharpening strokes. There are sharpening strokes and direction. Let's start with the direction. The direction is up and off. We are trailing off the edge. Edge trailing. Up and off, up and off. Edge trailing, no upper stone stops. Up and off, edge trailing. Edge leading stroke is when you start above the edge with the bottom of the stone and you lead onto the edge. Onto the edge, leading into the edge. Edge leading. Edge leading, your abrasives hit the apex. They move steel down to the shoulder. Edge trailing, your abrasives meet the knife at the shoulder. And the abrasives trail off the edge. Edge trailing moves steel up off the edge. Edge leading takes it down on the shoulder. Both places get deburred in a sense to make that knife sharp and smooth. That shoulder is seldom considered, but with a wicked edge and other fixed position, guided, fixed angle, guided sharpening system, you are making that bevel so flat that you're moving steel in both directions. And that's where the stropping is more impactful than most people realize or even consider how that edge traverses what you're cutting. So we have edge leading, edge trailing. Start at the bottom and trail off. An edge trailing is also called a lapping or a stropping stroke because you can drag soft mediums like leather across the edge to smooth it without getting cut. So it's up and off. Edge trailing is a lapping stroke or a stropping. Stropping is a lapping stroke. Up and off. Edge leading is used to intentionally impart a direction of a scratch pattern onto your knife edge. It's used in your sharpening, but you have control of that direction of that knife edge. And you can intentionally direct it the way you want with your stonework. Notice I am overlapping and working forward. I'm starting high and dragging down. When you look at that scratch pattern, it looks like this. Everything lined up like that when you get good at it. At the same reason, you can get that scratch pattern, and you notice I'm back here, but I'm going that way. I am not working longitudinally, I am working obliquely. And I am making a edge trailing up and off scratch pattern relative to the knife edge. Those are your choices. We use all of these when sharpening a knife, edge leading and edge trailing in these sharpening strokes. The simplest, number one, is scrubbing. It is both edge leading and edge trailing. You are moving steel down below the knife edge off the shoulder. You're moving steel up above the knife edge, rolling it over on the other side. If you ball it up here, we call that a burr. We're looking to make a burr, to feel that ball of steel on the back side. That's the physical manifestation of drawing a burr. The ramifications, you want it. It tells you you did it. The first side you do with your scrubbing. If you want to scrub in a round and round, there is a round and round scrubbing. The difference between the two is the scratch pattern. If you're okay with a randomized scratch pattern, it works very well for removing steel, because while you're using a round and round, you're overlapping everything. So you're making that bevel real smooth, but you're also scrubbing, but you're overlapping. So it works very well. And it moves a lot of steel, and it's a good way of getting started on your burr. And a good way to profile a knife. When you profile a knife and you start the first time profiling and you put the marker on there, there might be a little place where it's not quite reaching the tip. The only way you're going to reach the tip here, where the marker is still painted, and right now you're reaching here, is you have to move this out of the way smooth enough that now your scratch pattern is the whole way. So you're going to sacrifice, and I'm talking that little bit, but that's what the first profiling it is. So sometimes you need that round and round because you're trying to move that fat steel that's a millimeter behind the very tip, so you can make that scratch pattern even all the way to the tip, all the way to the heel. So that round and round works real well for that. The problem I have, the Expert Corner Group problem I have with that, is it's a randomized scratch pattern. And I don't believe that you should introduce any scratch you don't want there. And you don't know what you don't want there until it comes back and bites you. I'm going to stop here, and we're going to go into the next and talk about longitudinal sweeps. And we're not talking football.